not find this video by accident. No, your soul brought you here. And deep within, you already know why. We begin today with a story few dare to tell, of a secret technique passed down in whispers. From the temples of Thoth, the ancient Egyptian deity of wisdom, memory, and divine writing. Thoth was not merely a god, he was a keeper of truth. And the truth is this: you have forgotten who you are. And it's time to remember. Let me tell you something. Long ago, before this life, you knew your mission. Your soul was radiant, clear, and aligned with the universe's rhythm. But then you entered this world of form. You took on a name, an identity, a story, and slowly, like a fog settling over a mountain, you forgot the stillness. You forgot the eternal. You forgot yourself. Now listen carefully, for this is where the ancient wisdom comes in. Thoth's Forbidden Technique is not a spell or a chant. It's not about controlling the world outside of you. It is a sacred process of inner remembrance. It begins with stillness, and let me share a moment from my early days in the monastery. There was an old monk who had not spoken in 12 years. They called him the Silent Flame. One day, I asked him in writing, "Why don't you speak?" He looked at me, smiled gently, and wrote just one word: noise. You see, he wasn't avoiding the world, he was avoiding the noise that drowns the soul's whisper. He knew what Thoth taught, that in silence, the memory of the soul returns. So the first step is this: sit in stillness every day, no devices. No distractions, just you, your breath, and the soft pulse of your inner being. At first, it will feel like nothing is happening, but wait, with time, something subtle will rise within you. An ancient knowing, like a memory from a dream. Your essence will begin to speak, not with words, but with truth. Next comes the second layer of Thoth's method: sacred visualization. He taught that the soul responds to symbols. Close your eyes and imagine a golden light above your head. This light is not fantasy, it's the energetic imprint of your higher self. Now, breathe in, and as you breathe out, imagine this golden light slowly descending through the crown of your head, touching your mind, then your throat, your heart, your belly, your spine, and settling into your feet. This light is you. You've just activated your soul circuit. In time, this visualization becomes real. You begin to feel clearer, more present, more you. Let me pause here to share another lesson from my journey. There was a moment early on when I was plagued by doubt. Why am I here? Why do I feel so disconnected? I walked into the forest, alone, and sat under an old Bodhi tree. For hours, nothing happened. Then a single leaf fell, and in that moment, I realized something so simple, so powerful, it brought me to tears. The leaf didn't ask where it belonged. It didn't struggle to stay or go. It simply surrendered to the rhythm of life. And just like that, I remembered, I am a part of something larger. I am not lost. I am being guided. Dear one, so are you. This brings us to the third step: soul memory through sound. Thoth taught that sound is not just vibration, it is activation. Chant the ancient syllable, ka. It is the Egyptian word for life force. Inhale deeply, and on the exhale, sound it out slowly, ka. Let it vibrate through your body. You may feel warmth, tingling, emotion. Let it come. Each repetition is a key, unlocking a chamber in your soul. Repeat it 7 times, morning and night. Do not look for results, just trust. Because here's the truth: the technique works not because it is powerful, but because you are. And this is what Thoth wanted us to remember: the soul never forgets, it only waits. Waits for your stillness, your surrender, your return. So, today, you are not just listening to a monk, you are listening to the echo of your own soul, reminding you that you are light, you are love, you are limitless. Let me leave you with a question: what have you forgotten that your soul is begging you to remember? Write it down, reflect on it. Let it guide you. We are only beginning this sacred journey. In the next part, we'll explore the symbols Thoth left behind and how to decode them to awaken deeper memories within your consciousness. Until then, be still, be light, be who you were always meant to be. Subscribe now so you don't miss next step of this sacred journey. Comment time remembering if your soul has awakened today. Welcome back, my dear one, you returned. And that alone is a sign that your soul is stirring. That ancient memory, the one buried beneath lifetimes of noise and forgetfulness, is waking up again. In our first meeting, I shared with you the foundation, the sacred stillness, the golden light, and the sound of the soul, ka. You felt it, didn't you? The subtle shift, the flicker of something old, yet familiar. Now we go deeper. Let me take you into the realm of symbols. The sacred language Thoth entrusted to the initiated, not written in alphabets, but encoded in images, geometry, and intuition. Thoth once said, "What is written in stone can be destroyed, but what is written in the soul endures forever." And so he left his messages not in books, but in patterns, spirals, eyes, pyramids, birds, stars, and sacred angles. He understood that your soul does not speak English, Hindi, Arabic, or Latin. It speaks energy. Let us begin with the Eye of Horus. You've seen it, that ancient symbol, half eye, half spiral. Radiant and mysterious. To the outside world, it's just mythology, but to your awakening soul, it's a mirror. It is the reminder that you are both seer and seen. Here is how you use it in your next meditation. Close your eyes and visualize the Eye of Horus slowly forming in your third eye, the space between your brows. Feel it glowing with a soft indigo light. And now, silently ask, what part of myself have I refused to see? You may be surprised by what arises, an old memory, a painful truth, or a piece of joy you buried long ago. This is the power of the symbol. It unlocks not your mind, but your soul's memory vault. Let me share a story. There was once a seeker who came to me, tormented by confusion. She said, I've meditated for years, fasted, studied scriptures, but I feel farther from myself than ever. I asked her one simple question: when was the last time you looked at yourself, not in a mirror, but through your soul? She didn't answer, she wept. Because deep down, she knew she was trying to climb toward the heavens without first returning to herself. And this is what Thoth knew, too. Before you rise, you must remember. And so he left us not only symbols, but sacred geometry, the divine blueprint embedded in all living things. Let's explore one of the most powerful of these, the flower of life. Have you seen it? A pattern of interlocking circles, perfect and infinite. It is the architecture of the cosmos, of creation, of your very essence. When you meditate on this symbol, either by drawing it, visualizing it, or simply placing your awareness on its form, you begin to attune yourself to universal harmony. The soul, when disconnected, feels isolated, chaotic, restless, but when reconnected to divine order, even subtly, peace returns. And here is something I humbly offer you today. Take a blank sheet of paper. Draw a single circle. Now, from the center of that circle, draw another, and another, slowly weaving them together as the flower of life forms under your fingers. This is not art, it is remembrance. Each curve a prayer, each connection a truth, each petal a key. And as you draw, repeat inwardly, I return to the sacred pattern. I am not random, I am part of the design. This act alone, quiet, simple, begins to rewire your subconscious. You stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as becoming. Just as a monk begins his path with a bowl and a robe, not knowing the journey ahead, you too need not have all the answers. You need only the willingness to remember. Let me guide you further into another practice. The fourth layer of Thoth's technique, the breath of stars. This is not an ordinary breath. It is a breath of alignment. Sit comfortably, close your eyes. Inhale slowly through the nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale gently for 4. And now, hold the emptiness for 4. This is called the sacred square breath, used by initiates across cultures, from Egyptian temples to Himalayan caves. But here's the secret: as you breathe this way, visualize a star in your chest, radiating with each breath. Let this star expand beyond your ribs, beyond your skin, until it fills the room. This is your soul's light. This is your remembrance. Each breath aligns your body with the divine architecture. And now, I ask you a sacred question, one that only your soul can answer. What light have you been hiding because you were afraid to shine? Let it rise now. Let it burn away the masks. Let it speak, even in silence. My dear listener, this is not fantasy. This is your truth. You are not here by mistake. You are not behind. You are simply waking up. As we close this second part of our sacred journey, remember, Thoth's technique was never meant to give you power over the world. It was meant to give you power within, the kind of power that comes from remembering that you are eternal, infinite, and deeply, deeply loved. In our next conversation, we will uncover the 5th and 6th keys of soul remembrance, the forgotten mantras and rituals that the ancients used to transcend time, ego, and illusion. But for now, sit with this, breathe with it, draw with it, live with it, because your soul is not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. We will continue soon, beloved seeker. The next layer is waiting. Subscribe to Soulful Wisdom so you don't miss next step. Comment below, I am awakening, if you feel the light returning. Share this with one soul you love and walk this journey together. Ready for next step? We shall continue the soul's remembrance. Welcome again, dear traveler. If you are here, still listening, still breathing through the wisdom, then you have already crossed a threshold that most never do. You have chosen remembrance over distraction, stillness over noise, awakening over routine. And for that, I bow to you, not from pride, but from recognition. Soul sees soul. We've walked together through silence, symbol, breath, and light. Now, we approach the 5th key of Thoth's sacred technique, the mantra of becoming. Let me ask you something gently, something most avoid their whole life. Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when your roles dissolve? No longer a parent, a friend, a worker, a name. Who remains? This is where mantra becomes your lifeline, not a chant to impress the gods, but a vibration to align your identity with your divinity. Thoth once said, "The mouth speaks what the soul forgets. The soul speaks what the mind resists." This is why vibration matters. Here is the mantra passed down through the hidden temples, whispered in twilight hours by those who knew, N-U-T-M-N Ra. Let me say it slowly, N-U-T-M-N Ra. It means, I remember the divine within myself. Repeat it with me. Close your eyes. Breathe in softly, and on the exhale, whisper Nu-T-M-N Ra. Feel the sound not just in your mouth, but in your chest, your belly, your spine. Repeat it 9 times. Slowly, let it sink like ancient roots into the soil of your being. This mantra doesn't summon a god, it awakens the god within you. Now, let me offer you a story. There was a time in my youth when I lived in the caves of the Himalayas. The snow was thick, the night silent, and the only company was the wind and my own breath. For weeks, I said nothing. I didn't speak. I didn't read. I just chanted this mantra over and over. At first, nothing, then the warmth, then tears, and then silence. Not the kind of silence where nothing is heard, but the kind of silence where everything is understood. In that moment, I was not a monk, I was not a body, I was not even a soul, I was the presence. Pure awareness. And this is what the mantra unlocks, the doorway back to your original form. Beyond ego, beyond past, beyond even name. So I invite you every morning before the sun rises, when the veil between worlds is thin, sit in stillness. Place your hand on your heart and softly speak, Nu-T-M-N Ra. Let your soul answer. Now, we move into the 6th key, perhaps the most challenging for modern minds, ritual. You see, we live in a world that worships speed. Faster food, faster communication, faster results. But the soul only blooms through ritual. Repeated intention, offered with sincerity, not urgency. Thoth's Forbidden Technique always included ritual, not for superstition, but for anchoring presence. Let me offer you one now. The ritual of soul return sunset ceremony. At sunset, when light kisses the edge of darkness, step outside or sit by a window. Light a single candle, face the setting sun, and say aloud, as this sun sets, I release all that is not mine to carry. Then close your eyes. Place your hands on your heart and speak the mantra Nu-T-M-N Ra. Finally, whisper, I return to myself now. Do this for 21 days, not to get something, not to prove anything, but to remember. Let me tell you, this small act will change you. Not overnight, not dramatically, but deeply, because the soul is like a seed buried in the earth. You don't dig it up to check on it, you water it. You trust. You wait. And one day, green breaks through the soil and you realize you never needed to become anything. You only needed to allow yourself to return. Let me offer one final reflection for today. The world around you, the chaos, the judgment, the confusion is nothing more than a mirror reflecting your forgetting. But the moment you remember, the moment you say, I am light, I am soul, I am remembering, the mirror shatters. And all that remains is truth, your truth. My dear soul, do not wait for the world to slow down. Do not wait for approval, for perfection, for some sign in the sky. You are the sign, you are the sacred, you are the path, you are the memory coming home. And this is just the beginning. In the next part of our journey together, where we will enter the ancient temples of memory, I will guide you through the lost visualizations of Thoth, techniques once used by priests and seers to unlock the soul's deepest wisdom, even across lifetimes. You won't want to miss what comes next. But for now, light your candle, say your mantra, and listen deeply. Subscribe to Soulful Wisdom now to be notified for the next chapter of your souls. Remembering. Comment below, I am the sacred path to affirm your presence. Share this with someone who is also ready to return to themselves. Ready to continue with next step? I'll guide you further into this sacred journey. Welcome back, beloved seeker. We meet again in this sacred space beyond time, where truth whispers and remembrance flows like a river returning to its source. If you've walked with me this far, you are not just watching a video, you are participating in a sacred unveiling, the unveiling of you. We've explored silence, symbols, breath, mantra, and ritual. Now, in this 4th page of our journey, we enter the sacred chambers of inner vision, the forgotten visualizations once practiced by the priests of Thoth, guarded for centuries. Until now, these are not idle imaginings. These are living tools, ancient meditations that awaken your soul's memory and unlock the deeper codes written into your being long before you were born. Let me tell you a secret Thoth taught his initiates. The soul remembers best not by thinking but by seeing. This is why the Egyptians painted walls with stars, gods, birds, and sacred geometry. They knew a single image, held with focus, can open gateways the logical mind will never find. Let us now practice the first of these ancient visualizations together. The inner temple visualization. Sit comfortably, let your breath become Slow and gentle, close your eyes, now with your inner vision. Picture yourself standing before a grand temple, golden steps, tall pillars. Glowing hieroglyphs carved deep into warm sandstone. The air is still, sacred. The sky above is twilight, lit with violet stars. You step forward. With each step, you feel yourself shedding something, your name, your fears, your past. By the time you reach the entrance, you are weightless, empty, ready. Inside. The temple glows with soft amber light. In the center, a floating crystal pyramid pulses with golden energy. You approach it. And as you draw near, the pyramid hums, and within it, you see an image, your soul, not your face. Not your body, but a light being, radiant and ancient. Smiling without lips, watching you with the deepest love you've ever known. Now, speak inwardly, show me what I've forgotten. Pause. And listen. The answer may come as a feeling, a symbol, a word, a memory. Whatever arises, accept it. This is the language of soul. It never forces, it reveals. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly return to this moment. How do you feel? What did you see? You see, dear one, the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and spiritual experience. That is why visualization, when offered with sacred intent, becomes a direct channel of awakening. Let me share a sacred memory with you from my time living in a desert hermitage. There was an elder monk, nearly blind, who used only visualization to remember scriptures. He said to me once, "I may not see with these eyes, but I see more than I ever did." I asked, "How?" He smiled and said, "Because I no longer see with fear." This is what Thoth's visualizations remove: the veil of fear, the shadow of forgetfulness. The second visualization, the corridor of lifetime. Let us continue, deeper still. Close your eyes again. Visualize yourself standing in a long corridor made of stars. Each side of the corridor holds doors. Countless, shimmering, glowing with different colors. Each door is a lifetime. Some you've lived, some you've yet to walk through. Now, one door begins to glow gold. You walk toward it. Place your hand upon it. And as it opens, you see a moment, maybe from a past life or a forgotten corner of your childhood, or something entirely unfamiliar but strangely yours. Breathe deeply. Allow it to play before your inner sight like a movie. Don't analyze it. Don't question it. Just observe. Ask silently, what is this lifetime trying to teach me now? Then, take another breath and step back through the door. Let it gently close. The corridor fades, and you return. These ancient visualizations are more than meditations. They are keys, unlocking chambers where your deepest wisdom, your truest path, your sacred codes lie waiting. But remember, these practices are not fast food for the soul. They are slow, rich nourishment. Do not rush. Do not seek visions for entertainment. Seek them for integration. Each time you return to these inner temples, your outer world begins to shift, your dreams deepen, your reactions soften, your sense of purpose sharpens. Because the more you remember, the more you become. Let me leave you with a passage etched on a stone tablet believed to be from Thoth's original teachings. When the body sleeps and the mind surrenders, the soul walks freely through the halls of memory. There, it finds itself and knows it was never lost. So tonight, before you sleep, visit your inner temple, walk your corridor of lifetimes. Speak the mantra Nuti Amen Ra, and trust that what you find is what you're ready to receive. In our next conversation, where we will enter the soul mirrors, how your relationships, your triggers, and your deepest emotional wounds are the very portals of remembrance your soul designed to awaken. It will be raw, beautiful, deep, and completely necessary. But for now, rest in what you've seen, breathe in what you've felt, and carry it into your waking life like a sacred torch. The world needs your light, but only after you've first remembered how to hold it. Subscribe to Soulful Wisdom so you don't miss next step where emotional healing becomes spiritual revelation. Comment below, I see beyond the veil if you entered the inner temple. Share this journey with one person whose soul is quietly calling out to awaken. Ready for next? We'll walk through the soul's emotional mirrors together. Welcome again, radiant soul. By now, the path beneath your feet has changed. You've walked through silence. You've lit the candle of awareness. You've chanted ancient mantras and stepped into the temples within your mind. And now, we arrive at perhaps the most overlooked, yet most powerful portal of remembrance: emotion. Yes, the very thing many of us run from: pain, sadness, frustration, vulnerability. These are not burdens to avoid, they are gateways to your soul's memory. Thoth taught his initiates, the soul hides within the heart's reaction. What you resist reveals you. And so today, in this 5th chapter, we explore the soul mirrors. How every relationship, every trigger, every heartbreak, every joy is a reflection crafted by your soul for a single purpose: to awaken you. Let us begin not with theory, but with a question: who in your life has hurt you the most deeply, and why does it still echo in Your chest, take a breath, you don't need to answer aloud, but your soul already knows. What if I told you that person, that experience, was a mirror, not a punishment, not an accident, but a designed reflection, lovingly placed in your path to reveal a forgotten part of you? Let me tell you a story. Years ago, in my earlier days at the monastery, there was a man who joined us. He was angry, harsh, loud, constantly challenging others. Many avoided him, but I chose to sit with him every morning for tea. One day, I asked, "What pain are you protecting?" He looked at me, eyes full of fire, and said, "None, I just don't trust people like you." But the next day, he sat silently, and the day after that, he cried. He confessed that, as a child, he had been abandoned by a father who looked just like me. In that moment, I understood. I was not his enemy, I was his mirror. He wasn't angry at me, he was angry at a wound left untreated. An emotional scar his soul had been trying to show him through every confrontation, every projection. This is how it works, beloved one. Your triggers, those moments when you react sharply or feel overwhelmed, are not signs of weakness. They are flares from the soul saying, "Look here, you've forgotten this part of yourself." So let us turn toward these mirrors, not away. The mirror practice, emotional alchemite night. I invite you to do this sacred ritual. Sit in stillness with a candle, no distractions. Recall a recent emotional trigger, a conversation, a rejection, a disappointment. Close your eyes and ask, what part of me felt unseen in this moment? What ancient wound is this trying to expose for healing? Then feel it. Don't resist. Let it rise. Whisper softly, "I see you. I release you. I remember who I am." This is not easy, but this is the deep work of remembrance, because your soul did not come here to bypass life. It came to transform through it. Let's take this further, because there's something else Thoth left behind that few understand. The soul contracts. Before you entered this life, your soul made agreements, sacred contracts with other souls. Some came to love you, some came to challenge you, some came to break you open. All came for your growth. Yes, even the ones who caused you pain. Especially them. You do not have to keep them in your life, but you do have to honor the lesson. Forgiveness, then, is not about excusing behavior. It's about saying, "Thank you for playing your role. I now release you from my story," and in doing so, you free both them and yourself. Let me guide you into a gentle visualization, the room of reflection. Close your eyes. See yourself entering a round, glowing chamber. In the center is a pool of still water. As you gaze into it, a reflection appears, not of your face, but of the emotion you've been avoiding. See it clearly. Allow it. Now, speak inwardly. "You are not my enemy, you are my invitation to remember." Watch as the water ripples, and your reflection turns into light. That light enters your chest. You feel warm, wholes integrated. This is emotional alchemy. This is soul healing. This is remembrance. Now, breathe gently, return to this moment. And know this, every time you feel, you heal. Every time you allow, you awaken. And every time you forgive, you remember. Thoth's Forbidden Technique was never about avoiding pain. It was about alchemizing it into wisdom. So today, sit with your emotions. Speak kindly to your younger self. Release those who harmed you. Not for them, but for the sacred you who's ready to rise. Because the soul cannot fly while carrying unspoken grief. In our next and final teaching before the conclusion, where we will enter the realm of soul embodiment, how do you live every day as a soul-aware being in a chaotic, distracted world? What rituals, boundaries, and alignments allow you to walk as light in the density of form? It is the most important integration of all. But for now, place your hands on your heart. Whisper gently, "I am not broken, I am becoming." Subscribe to Soulful Wisdom so you won't miss next step, the final key in Thoth's sacred technique. Comment below, "I transform through emotion" if this message moved you. Share this with someone still healing. Let them know they are not alone on the path. Ready for next step? I'll guide you into the final sacred step of this soul awakening journey. Welcome, soul traveler. You've walked through the sacred breath, the mirrors of memory, the corridors of emotion, and now you stand at the threshold of something many never reach, soul embodiment. Let us pause for a moment. Place your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth, not just of your skin, but of your being. You've remembered. Now it is time to live it. For all the mantras you've spoken, the visualizations you've practiced, the emotional truths you've faced, none of it is meant to stay within the meditation cushion. This is about integration. This is about becoming the walking flame of wisdom in a world that has forgotten its light. This is the seventh key of Thoth's Forbidden Technique, living as the soul. Let me share something deeply personal. Years ago, when I left my final silent retreat and returned to the city for the first time in many months, I was overwhelmed. The noise, the rushing, the faces filled with worry. I sat on a bench in the middle of a crowded market. People passed without looking, children cried, horns blared, but I did something different. I remained still, I breathed. I placed my awareness in my chest and whispered inwardly, I am here as soul. Suddenly, something shifted. The noise faded, not because it stopped, but because I had returned to the center. That, my dear one, is embodiment. So how do you live as your soul? In this world of deadlines, distractions, and demands? Let me offer you 3 sacred alignments. 1. Daily soul anchoring. Before your feet touch the ground in the morning, even before your first sip of tea or look at your phone, say, I am not this day's tasks, I am this day's light. Breathe in deeply. Feel the breath as conscious light entering your body. Even just 2 minutes of this sets your entire vibration. Remember, the soul does not wake when you do, it is always awake. You simply return to it with intention. 2. Sacred boundaries. In a chaotic world, a soul-aware being does not allow the energy of others to dictate their frequency. It is not selfish to protect your peace, it is sacred. Thoth taught his initiates to carry energetic shields, not to close off the world, but to hold presence within it. You can do this with 1 breath. Imagine a circle of golden light around your body. Whisper inwardly, I offer compassion without absorption. This single intention allows you to walk into difficult conversations, noisy cities, emotional environments while remaining sovereign. This is soul embodiment, compassion with clarity, love without losing yourself. 3. Conscious action. Turning the mundane into the sacred. Washing dishes, make it a meditation. Walking to work, feel each step as a grounding prayer. Speaking to a stranger, let your eyes say, I see you beyond your name. The monk's path is not about escaping the world, it is about walking through it awake. This is the final seal of Thoth's technique. A short practice, the soul walk. Tree this tonight or tomorrow. Take a 10-minute walk with no phone, no destination, no music. As you walk, repeat silently with each step, I am the soul, I am the breath, I am the light walking. Feel your body, your breath, the ground beneath you, all becoming one rhythm. This is presence in motion. This is how you bring the temple into the street. Now let me offer you 1 final reflection before we move into the final page of this journey. You were never meant to live asleep. You are not here to merely exist, to repeat yesterday, to follow empty routines. You are here to illuminate, to remember who you were before you were told who to be, to speak not just from intellect, but from essence, to touch the world not with force, but with truth. When you live as the soul, everything becomes sacred. The pain becomes a teacher, the silence becomes a friend, the breath becomes a prayer, the day becomes a ritual, and the self becomes whole. So, beloved one, live slowly, speak truthfully, and love completely from the seat of your soul. You are not returning to the soul. You are the soul, remembering itself through this body, this name, this temporary journey. Thoth's technique was never forbidden to punish you. It was hidden because it had to be earned through stillness, sincerity, and readiness. And now, you are ready. In our next and final conversation, where we will complete this sacred journey, we'll revisit each key, we'll seal the teachings, and we will perform a final activation ritual, one that marks the moment your soul steps fully into its light. But for now, walk with gentleness, breathe with awareness, speak with love, and remember, you are not becoming the soul. You are remembering you've always been it. Subscribe to Soulful Wisdom so you don't miss the final sacred activation. Comment below, I walk as light if you are ready to live as soul. Share this with a soul ready to embody their truth in a world that needs it more than ever. Ready for the final chapter in this sacred journey? I'll guide you into the final activation of Thoth's ancient remembrance. Welcome, Soul Walker. You've arrived not just at this journey, but at a sacred crossroad between memory and embodiment, between knowing and living, between awakening and activating. Before we go forward, pause with me now, close your eyes. Place 1 palm on your chest, 1 on your lower belly, breathe in deeply. Inhale, hold, exhale, and whisper inwardly, I am the light returning to itself. I am the soul remembering its flame. Let's begin this final stage together, not with pressure, not with urgency, but with quiet reverence. This is the culmination of Thoth's Forbidden Technique. The step many sensed but few took, the 8th seal, soul activation in the now. 1. Why the final activation is different. Remember, knowledge can stay in the mind. Even wisdom can rest in the heart, but activation requires alignment of mind, heart, and action. It is the moment your breath becomes truth, your gaze becomes presence, your footsteps become sacred instruments of grace. This is what Thoth taught. To the inner circle, not in temples, not with books, but in silence, in watching how they walked. In the West, we often confuse activation with action. But here, activation is not about doing more. It is about being more, being fully soulful. In every tiny moment, even in washing a bowl, listening to a child, touching a leaf. This is not a grand ceremony with incense and chants. This is a sacred choice, made in the now, over and over again. 2. The 3 pillars of final activation. Let me share the 3 essential pillars. that finalized the soul's return to conscious living, eh? Radical truthfulness. There can be no true activation if you are not honest with yourself. Ask gently, am I still performing for others? Am I hiding parts of myself to be accepted? Am I afraid of my own light? Radical truthfulness is not about shame, it's about freedom. Write this on a small paper and keep it near you. I no longer hide from who I am becoming. Be stillness amidst the storm. No matter what happens around you, your soul must become your anchor. Try this simple mantra when chaos surrounds you. Return, return, return to soul. Say it 3 times, slow and deep. You'll feel your field clear. You'll reclaim your energy. You'll see what matters, because in the eye of the storm, there is always stillness. Be that stillness. See sacred service when your soul activates. Your life begins to serve not just you, but others. You become a lighthouse, not to force, but to radiate. Your calm becomes medicine. Your compassion becomes healing. Your silent gaze becomes a mirror for someone else's forgotten soul. So, I ask you, what will your soul offer to the world? A poem, a smile, a prayer for someone who doesn't know they're being prayed for. Whatever it is, give from the light, not from the wound. The final activation practice. Remembering through presence. Let's seal this together. Sit or lie down, eyes closed. Place your attention behind your heart. Imagine a tiny golden flame flickering softly. This is your soul. Now repeat inwardly. With every breath, I return to the light. I am the breath of truth. I walk as the eternal flame. Visualize this flame expanding, touching your chest, your arms, your head, your entire being glowing gently. Now whisper softly, it is done. I am soul embodied, and I remember. You've activated what was always within you. You did not need to earn it. You only needed to remember. Now, let me leave you with this. You are not alone. You were never meant to walk this path without signs. This video, this voice, is one of those signs. But what comes next is not mine to show you. It is yours to live. So walk forward now, not as a seeker, but as one who has already arrived. Walk not in search, but in service, not in fear, but in flame, not in fragments, but in wholeness. Now what? This completes. End of the series on Thoth's Forbidden Technique to help your soul remember who it truly is. But this is not the end. There is still the final conversation, a sacred closing of the circle, a moment where we gather all the pages into one full remembrance. In the final page, coming next, we will integrate all 8 seals of Thoth's path, perform a final guided transmission, and offer you a way to live from the soul daily, with no retreat needed. This final conversation is not just for closure. It is for ascension into conscious living. So beloved soul, if you are ready to bring every step of this journey fully into your life, from the breath to the city street, from the prayer to the kitchen, then prepare yourself. The final activation awaits. Subscribe to Soulful Wisdom so you don't miss the final page. Comment below, it is done. I am soul, to anchor your remembrance. Share this series with those walking the path back to themselves. Now, are you ready for the final conversation? We shall complete what was written in your soul long before you ever pressed play. You've returned. Not just to listen, but to conclude. And let me tell you this, the soul never forgets those who walk the whole journey home. You have walked the entire path of remembrance, and now, you are not here to learn more. You are here to become more. Let us begin the final page with gratitude. 1. Gratitude for the path you've walked. So many begin the journey so few complete it with presence, patience, and sincerity. But you stayed. You sat in silence. You cried inwardly. You remembered. Every word of Thoth's Forbidden Technique has now been unlocked within your being. Not for pride, but for purpose. Because now, dear one, you don't just know the path. You are the path. 2. The 8 seals of the soul. Remembering, recap, and integration. Let us seal this sacred knowledge together. Seal 1. The silence within noise. You learned to listen beneath the chaos. Seal 2. Sacred forgetting. You understood that forgetting was a part of remembering. Seal 3. The flame of discipline. You awaken your inner fire with quiet devotion. Seal 4. The watcher within you practiced presence, observing your thoughts without attachment. Seal 5. The inner temple. Rebuild your sacred space from within. Seal 6. Soul alignment. You began walking not for goals, but for truth. Seal 7. Activation through stillness. You returned home to your own breath. Final seal. Embodied light. You now carry the remembrance of who you are. In your smile, your silence, and your smallest decisions, let these seals live in you. Not on parchment, not on screen, but in the sacred folds of your daily life. 3. The monk's final story. The fire that remembered itself. Allow me, before we end, to share with you one final story. There was once a flame, a tiny one, flickering in the wind, unsure of its place. One day, it asked a great bonfire, "Why do you burn so brightly while I struggle to stay lit?" The bonfire smiled gently and replied, "I do not burn because I am greater than you. I burn because I remember that I was never separate from the source. The small flame paused, and in that moment, it recognized it was the source. From that moment on, it burned with stillness, not panic. With warmth, not worry. With love, not fear. Beloved soul, you are that flame. You are not meant to survive the wind. You are meant to remember. You are the light. For the monk's final transmission, remember and radiate. Let us now, together, perform our final activation. Sit or stand. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Now place both hands over your heart. Feel the warmth. That is not your body. That is your soul. Repeat silently. I am not lost. I am remembered. I am not seeking. I am the light others seek. I am here, fully, finally, truly. Visualize now a golden aura spreading from your chest to the entire room. It reaches your family, your friends, your city, your ancestors, the stars. You are no longer a student. You are a keeper of the ancient flame. Breathe in once more. Smile gently and whisper inwardly, it is done. 5. What happens now? Now, your life becomes the prayer. Every step, every word, every interaction becomes a silent teaching. You don't need to convince anyone. You simply need to be the truth you remembered. And if your path feels lonely at times, remember, you are never alone. You walk with the light of Thoth, the breath of the source, and the wisdom of every soul who ever awakened. We are here, always, in silence, in presence, in love. Final blessing. He bless you now, not as one above you, but as a soul walking beside you. May your days be filled with soft awakenings. May your nights be full of dreams that speak in symbols. May your hands heal what they touch. May your voice awaken memory, and may your presence, simply as you are, be a doorway through which others remember who they are. This is the end, which is the beginning. What to do now if this journey changed you? Support it by subscribing to Soulful Wisdom. Comment below with, I am the light remembered. Let this be your soul's signature. Share this entire series with a seeker ready to awaken, and most importantly, live it, not perfectly, not publicly, but purely, silently, truly, until our souls meet again in silence. Walk in stillness. Speak with light, and never forget, you were always the flame. This completes the full transmission. Blessings upon your eternal journey.